the oil that we have in one engine to lubricate the internal part of the engine suffer some degradation. It is necessary to do something to compensate the degradation that the time and the use provoke in the oil. One of the strategies to fight against this degradation, to compensate the degradation, of course, is change the oil, reject the old oil that we have in the machine and replace the oil for a new one. Probably this is the best solution for small engines. But what happens with large engines? With engines that has hundreds of liters of oil or even thousands of liters. It is possible to apply another strategy, a different strategy, instead of change the oil? Of course, the answer is yes. Remember that the oil is a mix between a base and some additives. The base of the oil could be mineral or synthetic, and the additives are to improve the characteristics of the oil. For example, to avoid the mix of the water and the oil, or to avoid oxidation, or to maintain some viscosity in the oil even if the temperature increases. The base suffers degradation and the additives suffer degradation. But there is another effect when we use oil in an engine, is the contamination. The contamination arrives from the ambient, and the contamination comes from the machine itself, because some components suffer wear, suffer degradation, and this provokes that some particles that come from this degradation goes to the oil. Then remember, we have the base, we have the additives, and we have contamination. Of course, one way to fight against the degradation of the base, against the degradation of the additives, and to fight against the contamination of the oil is change the oil. But this is the only way? No, there is another strategy. We can do other things. The first that we can do is remove the contamination. Unfortunately, the filters that come from with the engine are not enough to eliminate all the degradation product, all the contamination. Then it is necessary to improve that. For example, with a offline filter, an external filter that filter the oil with the help of a centrifugal equipment. We need to centrifugate the oil, the hot oil, to eliminate this contamination. And this centrifugal process is very effective. Then, first problem, we can eliminate this first problem. We centrifugate the oil. What happens with the additives? We can check, we can analyze the oil time by time and see if the different additives that we have are in good condition or not. If we detect that some additive is not in good condition, we can add additives to the oil. It is not necessary to replace the oil. We can add the additive. The third problem is the base. The base with temperature suffer degradation and lose some characteristics. For example, lose the viscosity change, increase the viscosity, change the density, or change some points like the freeze point, etc. But it is possible to fight against this degradation using another type of oil instead of mineral oil or reformed oil group 1, 2 or 3 in the classification of lubricating oil done by API. Instead of group 1, 2 or 3, we can use group 4, a polyalpha olefin that is a very good base that suffer less degradation than mineral or reformed oils. Imagine that you have a synthetic oil with very good additives, and we analyze the oil time by time, probably once per week or once per month, to check if the characteristics of the oil and the contamination of the oil and the additives of the oil are in good condition. Imagine that you centrifugate the oil to eliminate the contamination products. What happened with this oil? Probably the oil lose some characteristics, and you have some phenomenon like the sulfuration, nitration of the oil. But this happened in a long period of time. Instead, the change proposal by the suppliers every 1,000, 2,000 of operating hours, it is necessary to change the oil. It is possible to do this different strategy, centrifuging the oil, analyzing the oil time by time, and to using one oil with very good quality at synthetic oil, which is the expecting life of this oil is very high. Instead of 1,000, 2,000, we can think in change the oil every 10,000, 12,000, 15,000 operating hours. Think a minute in the advantage of this proposal. First, you save a lot of money. Second, you save a lot of manpower. You reduce the impact in the ambient, and you increase the availability of the engine because you don't need to stop the machine to remove the old oil that you have in the machine. It is necessary to change the oil in combustion engines. Think about it.